Come here, son, nephew, young man. Let me holler at you. If you came here from the short video I put up, I gave you a scenario of when I was young, the necessity that one of my relatives found in getting me to be quiet and listen when someone is trying to get information conveyed to me. You can't learn and talk at the same time. But it goes deeper than that, because a person who can't be quiet when someone is talking has other issues. Number one, it's a self-discipline issue. I mean, we're just talking about a basic function to just sit there, listen, and process information. I love my folks on TikTok, but I tell them all the time, to get valuable information, it takes more than 1 minute. It takes more than what you can put in a YouTube short. It takes some reading. It takes some research. It takes some application to truly learn something. I don't think a lot of people in the current state of affairs in America understand how important learning is, and dare I even say, how to learn. But I know this much: for this next generation, if you can just listen and gather information, you're going to be better suited, better off, have a more positive outlook than a majority of the people out there. Because most people out there, their attention span is so short and their discipline is so lacking that they can't even just stop and listen. 3 things I've seen help people get opportunities that they may not have even deserved. Number 1, saying yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. In other words, being respectful. 2, being consistent and showing up every day, win, lose, or draw. And 3, listening. You cannot learn and listen at the same time. Maybe you feel like what someone has to say isn't important. Then you, my friend, have not learned the art of learning. You can learn something from a bum on the street if you listen. I got 3 uncles, 2 of which were, one is passed on now, 2 of which were engineers and 1 was a lawyer. All 3 of them at one point were homeless. That's a different story for a different day. But if you listen long enough, they can teach you something about engineering and about law. Now, the other aspects of life, one I don't speak to because he decided he's going to insult me one day, and I have the gift of gab, and I can insult somebody to the point it'll cut them to their soul. So rather than cut him down to his soul and hurt him permanently mentally, because another thing about people who be quiet and listen, we know things that you think we don't know. We hear things that you thought we didn't hear. And because we keep our eyes straight forward, or our posture different, or we seem like we're minding our business, we're paying attention. You be very wary of that quiet person. I've told y'all about quiet people. Now I'm giving you some real game. Quiet people are listening to everything and everybody. See, those are chess players. Chess players aren't loud. Checker players are loud. Oh yeah, one hop, crown me. Let me jump across the board because it looks fancy. That chess player is thinking 3 to 5 moves ahead and analyzing 3 to 5 moves which have passed. I remember when I got my first job as an assistant principal in a different city and different school district in the one that I was working. I didn't tell anybody except the principal on the day that I left. But I turned in my 2-week notice to the principal beforehand. On the day I left, nobody knew I was going. I had so many people become jealous of me, and so many people turn against me because of other things that had happened. I had just gotten to the point where I decided to stay quiet, keep to myself, and deal with the kids and particular adults, but I didn't even tell them because unfortunately, we've come to a point in time where people will try to call ahead and ruin opportunities for you. But I'll be doggone if before I walked out that parking lot, that janitor who I was always respectful and cordial to, while he had his head down, he was mopping the floor. He said, "Congratulations on your promotion, Mr. Renaissance Man. You deserve it." And I said, "How did you know that?" He said, I'm quiet and I listen and I know everything. People talk. You just got to listen. You can't take anybody for granted who listens. Listening makes you dangerous. Listening makes you potent. Listening makes you effective. Listening is also an aspect of patience. And I had to learn it too, even after that lesson that my cousin tried to teach me. I still had to learn how to be a master listener. I remember on that same assistant principal job, the principal was a master politician. Do I aspire to be a politician? No. But can you learn things from people who are politically astute? Yes. And one thing he can do, he could sit there and let people talk until they felt like they had resolved something. He hardly said anything, didn't really do anything. You got a lot of people on this planet who just want to talk. And if it's your job to solve problems, you'd be surprised how many people will come to you, vent, even though they might be talking about some stuff you don't want to hear. And just because you listen, now you've gained an ally. If you don't believe me, try it. Learn how to listen. On the opposite end of the spectrum, you can ruin opportunities because you talk too doggone much. When people want to help you, want to see you succeed, want to give you information, and you can't even be patient and respectful enough to shut your mouth, that well of information will run dry. That source, that resource that's trying to help you will stop talking. I remember my basketball coach used to always teach us, look, son, as long as coach is yelling and fussing at you, that's because coach still believes in you. Is when coach stops talking and stops yelling and fussing when you got a problem, because now you finna go to the end of the bench. And I don't care if you're coming and going at that point. Be glad when somebody's trying to give you information. See, that's a metaphor for life. And sometimes you have to hear the same thing from more than one person and either reap the benefits or burn, sting, hurt from the consequences of your tail not learning stuff the right way. And I'm no different. I've been through that. But I'm telling you, if you're a young person out there, learn to listen. Be coachable, like I said in that other video. Don't be the person that somebody has decided, you know what? I'll keep information and opportunities to myself because this person don't listen no way. There's young fools, but there's old fools too. Don't be a fool. Be wise. Even what's not said is still valuable. You can ask a question, but if you sit there and listen, just because your question wasn't answered directly or even at all, it doesn't mean it wasn't answered. Body language and context still matters, but you can't get that if you don't close your mouth and listen. And as always, never lose the will to win and never lose the will to survive.